Okay, good afternoon, one and all. Today we are discussing about the routing techniques. In the last lecture, we are discussing about the packet switching. In the last lecture, we are discussing about the packet switching. So, in the packet switching, how we can transfer a data from one place to the other place that we were discussing in the previous lecture. Now, we are talking about the routing technique. So, in the routing technique, we are discussing about the performance, the number of hops, delay, cost, throughout that we are discussing in the routing technique. Now, the routing, how we can use the routing in packet switching network. We are talking about the performance, number of hops, cost. Okay, so now first one we are talking about the characteristic elements of routing technique. So the primary function of packet switching network is to accept the packet from the source station and deliver it to the destination. So to accomplish this, a path or route throughout the network must be determined. Whenever we are communicating a data, we can transferring a packets from one station to other station. We found generating a route that is called the routing. So thus a routing function must be performed. So the requirement for this function includes correctness, simplicity, robustness, stability, fairness, optimality, and efficiency. These are the some requirements while we can have the routing technique. Correctness, simplicity, robustness. Correctness, simplicity means what? Our route, it should be corrected. It is simple. It is robust. At every time we have to deliver it to the client. Then we can talking about the performance criteria. In this performance criteria, we are talking about the number of hops, the cost, delay, and throughput. Now, the selection of route is generally based on some performance criteria. Whenever we have find out the route, or we can say that whenever we have connecting a route, so this route is generally based on the performance criteria. The simplest criteria is to choose the minimum hope routes. Minimum hope routes. The hope route means what? The number of nodes. How many number of nodes we are used while we can connecting a route for transferring a data. So the simplest criteria is what? The simplest criteria is choose the minimum hope route. Hope route means what? The minimum number of nodes, at least number of nodes we are using throughout the network. This is an easily measured criteria and should minimize the consumption of network resources, where the number of hops means how many number of hops that we are required as come to as the minimum number of hosts, least number of nodes that we required to connecting the route for transferring a data from one station to the other station. Okay, the generalized the minimum hope criteria is least cost routing. Now we are come to the next performance is the cost. just because just because we have the minimum number of hops, minimum number of nodes that we use for connecting a route for transferring a data from one station to other station, then definitely if we have a minimum number of hops, then we have definitely our costing is also minimum. Definitely our costing is also what? Our costing is also minimum. So in this case, the cost is associated with each link. In this case, the cost is what? The cost is associated with each link. For any pair of attached station, the route through the network that accumulate the least cost is sought. Now, what is the costing? So the costing, whenever we are communicating a data from one station to other station, there are minimum number of nodes, minimum number of hops as we use. then definitely our costing for the each connecting of the each station, each link, each node is less. So that is the costing is less. For example, if I am going to illustrate the network of two arrow line between so this is the diagram. Look at this diagram. I'm going to take one example how we can have use this technique. So, for example, we can illustrate a network in which two arrow line between a pair of nodes represent a link between the nodes. Okay, how we can say that? We have said that whenever the two nodes are connected, the bidirectional arrow that we are using, this bidirectional arrow is what is connecting, is link between the two nodes, and the corresponding number represent say the current link cost in each direction where we have to set. So the shortest path from the node 1 to 6, look at the shortest path from node 1 to the node 6. Okay, so the shortest path from the node 1 to node 6 is what? From node 1 to node 3. Okay, from node 1 to node 3 and node 3 to node 6. Okay, that is the way. Now what is the costing? Look at the costing. So node 1 to node 3 is 5. Am I right? Here it is written. Okay, 5 in the arrow, which is goes from node 1 to 3, not coming from node 3 to 1. So the costing of node 1 to node 3 is 5. And then from node 3 to node 6 is also 5. So total 10. Total costing is what? 10. But we have the least cost path. I'm talking about the minimum number of nodes. If I choose the minimum number of node for transferring a node data from node 1 to node 6, are you getting what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm saying? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm talking about I have to communicate the data from node 1 to node 6. Here the circle is represent my node and the arrow where we have the number is what? Is representing the costing of that particular transmission of data. Is what? Is costing of that particular transmission of data. Now, what we are talking about? We are talking about I have to transfer a data from node 1 to node 6 and we use the minimum number of nodes. So the minimum number of nodes is what? From 1 to 3 and 3 to 6. From 1 to 3 and 3 to 6 is having the minimum number of nodes. So now I have to identify the route. Now I'm going to find out the cost of this route. So the cost is what? From node 1 to node 3, that is a 5. And from 3 to 6, here it is 8. Here it is what? 8. So 5 plus 3 is what? So 5 plus 3 is 13. So 13 is the cost of transferring a data from node 1 to 6. Now I have to find out the least cost. And now I have to find out the least cost. The least cost is now I'm taking the another route. Now I'm going to take the another route. The route is node 1 to node 4. Node 1 to node 4. Node 4 to node 5. And node 5 to node 6. Are you getting what I'm saying? Now I'm going to find out another route. Now I'm going to find out the another route. So another route is what? Node 1 to node 4. Node 4 to node 5. And node 5 to node 6. That is, I have to find out the alternate route. Now in that alternate route, Now I'm going to find out the costing of that route. Now the costing is what? From node 1 to node 4, there is a 1. From node 4 to node 5, there is a 1. And from node 5 to node 6, there is a 2. So how many it is there? That is 1 plus 1, 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So now it is our decision which route is our we use for communicating a data from node 1 to node 6. So definitely I'm going to communicate a data from node 1 to node 4, node 5 to node 4 to node 5, and node 5 to node 6 because of the least cost. So that is how we can have assign the cost and assign the route whenever we have find out the route. Okay. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Next, we are talking about the delay. The next one is talking about what? The delay. The costs are assigned to a link to support one or more designing objectives. Whenever we assigning a cost, so cost is identified is related with the designing part. Now we're talking about the delay. Now we say that in the first case, sorry. Now what is a delay? Just give us a minute. Now we're talking about the third performance criteria is delay. So delay is what? Delay means whenever we are communicating a data from node 1 to node 4, so node 4 is definitely not free to accepting our data and transferring it to node 5. No, it's already performing some task. So what is the we do? Node 4 is taking a queue, maintaining a queue while accepting a node from the node 1. So likewise, node 4 is in queuing. So nowadays the delay is happening. Now delay is happening. And here our throughput is also comes to a picture. In the first case, the least cost route provide the highest throughput. Now in the first case means what? Whenever we are communicating a data from node 1 to node 3 and node 3 to node 6, here our costing is high throughput. Our costing is what? Our costing is high throughput. But in the second case, the least cost route should be minimized. Now, our route is long, but our costing is minimum. So in that case, it may be possible that when I'm attempting the route 2, that is the N1 to node 1 to node 4, node 4 to node 5, and node 5 to node 6, in that case, I'm going to talking about the costing of that node. So costing is definitely minimum, but time is the delay. It's take a time to deliver a data from one node to the other node. So here it is, we are talking about the minimum hop and minimum cost, and then we are talking about the delay and throughput. So whenever we are choosing a route on the basis of performance, we have to find out the route where the route is minimum number of hops and least cost that we apply for finding a route. Now, the next one is talking about the decision time. The next one is talking about the decision time. The decision time and decision place. The next element of routing technique is the decision time and decision place. So now what is decision time? So the routing decisions are made on the basis of some performance criteria. Now, decision. Now we have to take a decision which route I have taken and how much time it requires to transfer a data. So The routing decisions are made up by having the performance criteria. The two key characteristics, the first one is a time and second one is a place that decision is made. So the decision time, the first one, is determined whether the routing decision is made on a packet or virtual circuit basis. So whenever we are delivering a data from one station to the other station and we are taking about the decision time, so our decision is that which route or which routing technique I am going to use or which switching technique I am going to use for communicating the data. Either I use the packet switching or I use the circuit switching, like datagram or virtual circuit. So packet or the virtual circuit. Packet means what? Whenever we communicating a data, we can have the different routes that we have for communicating a data from one station to the other. But in a circular, but in a circular circuit, we maybe have a fixed route. First, establish a connection and then communicating a data. So that is time. Our decision is that how much time it will take to communicating a data. The next one is a decision place. The next one is what? The decision place. The term decision place refers to which node or nodes in the network are responsible for routing decision. Means if I am going to transfer data from node 1 to node 4, then it is the decision of switching technique which route, which node or which nodes I am going to use for routing techniques. Either I use node 1, 3 to 6 or I use node 1, node 4, node 5, node 6. So it is my decision, it is routing network decision that which decision place they are using. Okay, so that is the decision place that we have used, decision time that we have used for distributing, centralize and originating the nodes. The next one elements is what? The network information source. The next one is what? The network information source. Now the network information source that we have sources and update timing. The most routing strategy require that decisions are based on the knowledge of the topology of the network, traffic load and link cost. Whenever we have a connecting a route and we have making a use of decision to having a route. So the route is based on the knowledge of topology network, traffic load and the link cost. So surprisingly, some strategy use no such information and yet to manage the packet through. The first one, that is none. Means there is no need to apply any kind of strategy either for topology network, traffic load, link cost. No, as it is they are using and communicating and transferring a data. Okay, the next one is a local. The next one network strategy is what? The local. In the local is what? In the local we have take a decision of local nodes that they are free or they are busy to communicating the data. Then adjacent node. The next one is what? The adjacent node. In the adjacent node, we are deciding that whenever we are using a node in the adjacent, so at that time of adjacent node, I am going to take a decision of adjacent node that this node is busy or it take a time to communicating a data. Then the nodes along route and the all nodes. Okay, the fourth and fifth is what? The nodes along route and all nodes. Here it is, we can have the use the nodes along with the route. That is already we can establish a connection and we have to find out the route that is from node 1 to node 4, node 4 to node 5, node 5 to node 6. That I have route already established and then I'm going to communicating a data. And then the last one is what? The all nodes. We are using the all nodes for communicating the data. Now the next one is routing strategy. The next one is what? The routing strategies. The routing strategies, large number of routing strategies have been evolved for dealing with the routing requirement of packet switching, where many of these strategies are also applied for inter-networking routing. So the first one is a fixed, second one is a floating, third one is a random, and fourth one is a adaptive. We are using the fixed. Fixed routing is what? The fixed routing is nothing but we have already established a connection, that is from node 1 to node 4, node 4 to node 5, node 5 to node 6. That is a fixed route, fixed routing. I am not going to change any route while we are communicating a data. We are not use any kind of node while we can communicating a data. The node is fixed. The route are fixed. The charges or cost is fixed. The topology that we are using is fixed. And then we can have communicating a data. Okay. The next one is flooding. The next one is what? The flooding. The flooding is what? The another routing technique is flooding. This require no network information, okay, whatsoever, and works as follow. Means if I have to send a packet is sent by the source node to every one of its neighbors. Flooding, likewise flooding. It was then if I have to communicate a data, so the one node is send a packet to every node of the neighbors, and at least each node at incoming packet is retransmitted on all outgoing link except for the link on which is arrived. And apart from the node which is sent by the neighbor node, this neighbor node is also find out the route to the neighbor node, and likewise they can have flooding our packets and reaching at the destination end. That is what? That is my flooding. The next one is a random. The next one is what? The random. In a random, we can have say that the randomly we have choose. The random routing has the simplicity and robust of the flooding with far less traffic load. With random routing, a node select only one outgoing path for retransmitting an incoming packet. For retransmitting an incoming packet, the random routing technique is used only a one node, only a one outgoing path for communicating a data. The outgoing link is chosen at a random, exclusively in the link which is packet arrive, where we can receive a packet. Excluding that link, the random technique is identifying or choosing the randomly any packet. If all links are equally likely to be chosen, then node may be simply utilize outgoing link round robin fashion. Round robin means what? The each packet is gone through the each node, and then we can communicating data from one place to the other. And the last one is adaptive routing. Then in the adaptive routing, it virtually all packet switching network, some sort of adaptive routing is used. This routing decision that are made changing as condition on the network change, where the data is failure or if there is a congestion, where the data is failure or there is a congestion. That all we are discussing in this lecture. Then these are the routing techniques we are discussing in the today's lecture. Dijkstra algorithm, where we are use this algorithm. I think in a DA, you have heard this Dijkstra algorithm, shortest path method, where we have to find out the shortest path and shortest cost, where we have to communicating the data. Then this is the example that we are discussing. All we are discussing in the examples also. Then we have routing strategy, fixed, flooding, random, adaptive. The flooding is what? So if I have to communicate data from 1 to 6, here the 1 is sending a node to every node, and then every node to the destination end. Then in a flooding all possible paths, they have find out and transferring a data. Then we are discussing about the land topology in the next lecture. Next lecture we are discussing about the land and man topologies. Now I'm going to stop here.